welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's Golden Win Geekout. I'm your host, Danny. Got my co-host, Ryan, with me.
Hey!
Okay, and we're going to talk about episode 31, Green Day and Oasis Part 2. And normally we just go through the episode, just following along as presented. But you know what? Fuck it. Let's change it up a bit because we have just got to talk about the one thing that everybody and their mother has been waiting for and gushing about since this episode premiered. Ryan, I know this was the one moment that you were waiting for, so you got the floor on this one.
Okay, alright. Well, I know we want to change it up a little bit, but I mean, to be fair, with the beginning of the episode, there wasn't a whole lot to cover. It's pretty much what I was anticipating to happen, like during the last episode or two. So basically, we got the little exchange of words between Sekko and Bruno, as well as exchanging a few fists. Okay, that checks out. But then we get to the main event, Giorno versus Chocolata. I mean, Danny and I will get into the details on how the events came to be. But yeah, like what Danny said, let's focus on the one thing that...
Yeah, let's focus on the ending of the fight, because that's really all anyone cares about.
The fight. Oh my god. The... oh so famous Chocolata beatdown. Oh please.
Yeah, bitch, please.
There's
oh,
you
wait.
sick but oh, here it comes.
Here we go. Yeah, they are animating every panel, every page. Yes! We got the wreath!
Oh my god! Yes! Yes!
And the encore!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
How long was that? How long was that?
Yeah!
Okay. When this is done, we gotta go back and time this when this episode is done. I have gotta see how long that was.
Star Platinum, back off! You have been dethroned! That was the best beatdown ever! Woo! Yes!
Okay, and for you anime only watchers, just to give you some hindsight, because I know we talked about it last week, but I did put it behind the spoiler tag, so just in case, that beatdown took 7 pages. 7 full-length pages, not panels, pages, was dedicated to Giorno beating the shit out of Chocolata. So this is a moment that everyone was waiting for, and I know, this was a moment that Ryan was waiting for, because if I recall, Ryan, this was your favorite moment. Like, this was your highlight of Part 5.
Yeah,
Giorno laying the smackdown.
Yeah, this was the highlight. Like, I mean, I don't remember exactly what my initial reactions were when you were initially showing me the manga, when we were doing the...
I think you were just more so in shock. I think you were just more so in shock, like, oh my god, 7 pages. I think you were more so shocked about that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think I was more shocked by the fact that something like this happens in not just in Vento Arreo, but just JoJo in general, really. Like a beatdown, this long.
No other beatdown throughout the entirety of JoJo beats this one. It's like you don't get no 7-page beatdown in Stone Ocean, no 7-page beatdown in Steel Ball Run, no 7-page beatdown in JoJo Land. So yeah, Giorno's got the record on this one.
And quite frankly, based on what we have seen Suffice it to say, I think Giorno still holds that very record for the having the longest beatdown even in the anime adaptation. Because here's the thing. If you were to go back and watch the Steely Dan beatdown in Stardust Crusaders, I timed this, and that entire beatdown takes 20 seconds. The moment Danny and I were done watching this episode of Golden Wind, I went back to the Chocolata beatdown, and I timed that. It took 30 seconds for that beatdown. Well, it wasn't exactly twice as long, like I was kind of hoping it would be, but nonetheless, it is still much longer, and dare I say, way more satisfying to watch than the Steely Dan fight. So, Star Platinum, I love ya, but consider yourself completely dethroned when it comes to beatdowns. Gold experience tops.
Jorno kind of served Jotaro right then.
I think Giorno pretty much served everybody at this point.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Giorno is king.
Cause it's like, oh my god, it's like, I was okay throughout this entire freaking day after this recording. I've been feeling so nervous and excited because I was really hoping we'd get the beatdown, and we did. And my heart has been beating so hard and so fast because I've been 7 months. It's been pretty much 7 months for this moment to finally come in the anime adaptation. We finally got it, and it gave us the justice it deserves. I mean, oh my god, oh man, I don't even know where to start. It's like, okay. Again, major props to Giorno's voice actor. It's like, honestly, based on how it was performed, I'm gonna go ahead and say that the way they handled that was like the voice act, the person in question, like, did multiple takes of the Muda 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 battle cry and compiled it all together, because that's what it sounded like to me upon re-listening to the beatdown. But I will, but
he
I will,
had
but
to
I
have, because it's like, if he did that all in one take, I feel so sorry for his throat.
I know. It's like, no, trust me, as someone who actually practices the very same battle cries when I'm bored as hell, I totally get it. It is very hard on the throat, especially when you're screaming these battle cries at the top of your lungs or whatever. But I mean, if that truly is the case, then major props to him. That certainly is like, my god, that certainly fooled me. Performance-wise, it was just phenomenal to listen to. But yeah, it was the voice performance, the sound effects that were within each individual punch, even the moment we got the big 3 in that beatdown, and it's like if okay, oh man, freaking, at first it seemed like, okay, it was just alright, it was a really intense beatdown, and then we get to the it's like if Gold Experience was packing heat. He was literally punching a goddamn Gatling gun into Chocolata. It was the most satisfying thing to listen to. It was amazing.
Oh my god, that's right. It's like, because yeah, it's like he was just punching so fast that it's like, it's like, yeah, like thinking back on it, it's like, yeah, right. It did sound like it was just shooting off a freaking machine gun.
It's freaking Giorno, like, took a page from Joseph in Battle Tendency and used his freaking stand as a goddamn Gatling gun. It's like, oh my god. And the fact that he did the like, this is like the best I have ever heard from Giorno. It just made it so much better.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
If I recall, Ryan, I remembered, I could have sworn I saw you, like, you retweeted out or something, and it was like, apparently, like, I guess, like, people who are able to read Japanese, and they're able to actually read the credits and shit, apparently, 6 people were animating on the beatdown.
Yeah, like, actually, hold on, let me see here.
Was that what your tweet said?
Oh, yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, was that what your tweet said? Was that there were 6 animators?
Well, it's like, I don't recall. I don't
that?
think I retweeted it. I remember mentioning something to you about it, before we initially watched the episode. but I don't think I retweeted it. But I know which one you're talking about. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me try to find it. Oh wait, no. Oh wait, no. I could just do this. Let me type that. Oh shoot, didn't mean to do that. Um. Oh. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Found it. Found it. So let's see. According to a user, sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. Machalian. Yes. Apparently, yeah, he took a. Apparently, looking on here, he took a screenshot of the credits and he highlighted a specific part in the credits where it highlighted like 6 names in Japanese, saying in the tweet, and I quote. The ending credits for Golden Wind, episode 31, list a team of 6 animators specifically for the Muda Muda scene. This is impressive. And rightfully so. I mean, with all this, okay, yeah, you know what? I'll bet you anything. With each individual shot that we got throughout that entire beatdown, I'll bet you anything. It's like, okay, I mean, I don't remember if they were like exactly 6 shots that we got throughout the entire beatdown. But regardless of such, I could see it. I could definitely see how it would take 6 animators to give this scene the justice it deserved.
Yeah, because that's like, okay, I'm rewatching the beatdown right now. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, when the beatdown initially starts, it's like, yeah, it's like, you see the punching and shit, and it's like, it starts out slow, but obviously as it continues, it's getting faster and faster and faster, and the faster that Gold Experience punches, it's like, the more sketchy the lines become. Like, to kind of show, like, yeah, that's how he's literally moving like a goddamn blur. So it's like, it's like the line work becomes far more erratic, just to showcase the speed. So it's like, that totally makes sense why you would need multiple people, like, animating, that 30 seconds, considering it's like, like, literally, like, every shot throughout that beatdown, that was a page in the manga. Like, pose and everything. So it's like, I totally understand why that you would need that many people to work that, that level of detail.
Oh man, oh god, yes. Yeah, no, seriously. That is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Sorry, I'm still trying to recover a little bit. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, like, this was the moment that a lot of people were waiting on. Like, a lot of people were like you. This was their favorite moment in part 5. And it's like, we finally get it.
Oh man, it's like all right. It's like, okay, see, this is another one of the biggest reasons why, like, the many moments that I enjoy so much in JoJo are the stand beatdowns. It's because of stuff like this. It's like, to me, it's like one of the most satisfying things to watch. And not gonna lie, like, even back in Stardust Crusaders, when I was initially watching that for the first time, when it was initially airing or whatever, makes me appreciate close quarters combat way more than I should have in the past.
Right.
Oh man, no, seriously, that was, it's like, oh man, no, I think it's safe to say that is that's the greatest stand beatdown in JoJo history.
Oh, it is. like I said, like, it's not only just because it's the longest one, but yeah, this one was so satisfying. So
it was the most satisfying. More like, I think compared to a lot of beatdowns, seeing as how there were like 6 animators, like, putting together this one massive beatdown. I think this is the most work, like, David Productions has put on any beatdown. I could be wrong, because, we've had very intense beatdowns before, like, with The World and Star Platinum back in Stardust Crusaders, so don't quote me on that, but as of right now, I think the Chocolata beatdown was, like, the one beatdown that has the most work put into it, and it shows.
And that's, like, as from what I remember from reading the manga, it's like, Jolien is still in the works, and there have been some beatdowns, but they've been pretty average beatdowns at best. Stone Ocean, for the life of me, I can't remember much of the beatdowns from Stone Ocean, but
Oh no, that
actually
is not a good sign.
that's that's actually one of my biggest criticisms about Stone Ocean is like the quality of the battles. It to me it feels like it goes down in Stone Ocean, and I think that's just because they were handled so well in Golden Wind that it's like it raised the bar a little too damn high. Now, as for Steel Ball Run, uh, personal opinion, I would say the final beatdown against the ultimate villain for Steel Ball Run is probably the one that's like the closest to, I would say, probably like this level, because that was another one that was very satisfying. Everything being like leading up to it was great. It was not 7 pages, so Jorno still has that. He still has that. But as far as like satisfying levels and shit, that's where it's like I would say, yeah, Johnny Joestar beating down President Valentine. That comes really damn close to being just as satisfying as Jorno beating down on Chocolata. It's just, if only Johnny had done it for 10 pages or something, then Johnny would be king, but he did not.
That's a drag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm surprised, because it's like, yeah, you would think that seeing as how Stone Ocean, like the main protagonist is the daughter of another awesome JoJo protagonist, you would think that the fights at the very least would be up to par with all these other beatdowns or fights that we've had in the past.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm thinking probably once the Golden Wind anime is done, I'm gonna actually probably go back and reread Stone Ocean, because I've only read through it all one time, and it's like and it's like I said, like just after my initial reading and when I started reading into Steel Ball Run, I was struggling trying to remember battles, specific moments, stand names, users, stand abilities. There was a lot that I could not remember from Stone Ocean, which for me personally, was not a good sign, because I was just like, oh my god, how can I not recall these stand battles from part 6? But meanwhile we got part 5. You remember goddamn everything because it was all handled so well. And Steel Ball Run had a ton of really good fights too. So it's like, to me that's where I'm just like, oh my god, like. But I'm thinking that's where, like, I think I owe it to myself to reread Stone Ocean before the anime eventually comes out. And, even if for whatever reason when I'm rereading it, if I still feel the same, that I still feel that, it's just not as good or whatever, maybe David Production will, step up and be like, okay, we'll make this look good. So it's like, I'm hoping for that. So, but, we'll worry about Stone Ocean when we get to it.
Yeah, like another couple years from now.
Yeah, probably. Like, I'm thinking it's gonna be like a year minimum before we get Stone Ocean.
Yes, yeah, really.
I mean, at the rate with how long it took to get Golden Wind, it'll take probably just as long.
Right.
All right. So now that we've gushed about the ending of the fight for damn near 20 minutes, let's actually go back and talk about the episode proper.
Yeah, so I pretty much already covered what happened before the Chocolata fight. Again, as I expected, like an episode or two ago. Just like what happened in the manga, we got the exchange with Seko and Bruno, both verbally and physically. And then the rest of the episode was dedicated to, well, mostly dedicated to the Chocolata fight.
Yeah. And that's where it's like, excuse me. So it's like, yeah, pretty quickly Mister got, taken out. So it's like, you have been in enough fights, sir. It's like,
all right, Mister, I appreciate you helping, but all right, you've been in way too many fights. Just have us, just take a seat. While I, Chocolata, kill off the majority of your bullets.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, yeah, just the fact that that number 5 stayed behind is what kept Mista alive.
So, and that is why bullet number 5 is best bullet.
He is. He's the MVP of the group.
Player of the game.
Yeah. So we saw we saw all the pistols, except for number 5. They all kind of fell, pretty brutally. Apparently Giorno has, I guess, taken up parkour in his spare time. Because, my God, he was like, the way he was jumping up that tree, it's like, goddamn.
It's like, oh my God, Giorno is training to be the next assassin. It's like, no wonder this whole part solely takes place in Italy.
Let alone, it's like, okay, so we had Bruno going Assassin's Creed as a kid, and now Giorno. So it's like, I guess that must be rites of passage or something in Passione.
I guess? I don't know.
Yeah. And then, okay, I was cracking my shit up here just because I think it's the way it was animated. So when we see what happened, how was it that Cioccolata was hiding in the helicopter? Why is it that the bullets could not find him and everything? And that was where you see, he literally, he cuts his body into pieces, pretty much like what Bruno was doing during the train fight, when he was trying to survive going up against Pesci. And I don't know what it was. I think it might have just been the animation. After he scalpels his torso off, and you see, he literally, falls back, and it's like, the way he wriggled into hiding afterwards is I don't know why, but that was way funnier than it had any right to be. It's I'm just sitting here laughing, I'm giggling, I'm just like, what the fuck is that?
I know.
And
he uses green tea to pretty much dismember himself, including his entire torso, and his spine is still sticking out from below his torso or whatever, and he crawls away like.
Exactly. That's what it's like. I think that's what cracked me up about it. 'Cause it's again, it's pretty horrifying to see it in the manga, and it's so that was pretty horrifying. And again, the whole idea behind it is pretty horrifying. At least with Bruno, when he does it, it looks relatively painless. Because he's just zipping and unzipping, so it's relatively painless. But not Cioccolata. He's literally cutting himself into pieces, and because he's a doctor, he knows what parts to avoid so he doesn't bleed to death. Yeah. So it's it's horrifying and shit, but I don't know, it's just that one little wiggle animation kind of ruined it.
It's the spine. So much for it's the spine.
So what is with Cioccolata's spine? Why does his spine have a mind of its own? Seriously. The rest of his body is stationary. You can't even make the argument it's probably the helicopter because the propellers are still going. So you're thinking, okay, it might be the helicopter, but no other part of his body is flowing with the wind. Not his hair, not his coat or anything. It's just the spine.
It's just the spine. What? It's no, seriously. You watch the movement of the spine. It's like if freaking Cioccolata treated his freaking spine and make it seem like he has a tail.
Really? And it's I know this is a stupid thing to harp on, and I'm sure somebody in the comments is gonna correct me on this one. I am not a medical practitioner by any means, but it's I would think with how physics work here, it's you would think that it's okay, why is everything else being stationary? Let alone we got Giorno hanging outside of the goddamn helicopter, and he's not even affected by the propeller wind. But the tail from within the helicopter, that's just flowing freely. It looks so goofy.
Goofy and creepy at the same time, seeing as how this is Cioccolata we're talking about.
Yeah, that's really all it was. It's I know we were praising the animation for the beatdown and stuff, and it's like, it's pretty easy to forget that, like, not even, like, what is it, like 2 or 3 minutes prior to that beatdown, we had that weird, quirky little goof. It was just like, what?
It's like this is like some Deadpool shit when you were watching that. like with him dangling by his spine, or like, I don't know, like some freaking intestines or some shit like that. It's like, my God.
Now that's a death battle I'd like to see. Deadpool versus Chocolata.
Oh my God.
That's a death battle worth seeing.
Oh my God. You can't have a death battle season without Deadpool.
I mean, Deadpool would win just because, not even the Green Day mold can kill him, but still, it'd be fucking funny to see.
Pretty much.
Yep. Then we got that. We saw Giorno, with the tree branches and the Beatles, all that other fun stuff.
Oh, the Beatles.
Yep, and then we got to his beatdown, and then Chocolata literally gets punched into the garbage truck. So just think about it: 7-page beatdown, only to be thrown into a garbage truck. That's like the cherry on top of the sundae right there.
Yes, no, seriously, exactly like how it all ended in the manga. Yes, it ended with Chocolata literally getting punched into a dumpster truck. And it's even more satisfying to see an ending of a beatdown like that in the anime adaptation. I mean, it was one thing, to see Steely Dan get punched so much and break through a goddamn brick building. It's like, alright, that was cool and all. But something about seeing a complete dick like Chocolata getting beaten to a bloody freaking pulp for like 30 seconds, only to get punched straight into a dumpster truck. That was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, it was like with Steely Dan, it was just like, I remember when I was watching Stardust Crusaders, and you were there in the chat listening, and I was like, I was just sitting watching that episode, and I'm like, oh, Steely Dan, you dumb bastard, you have no idea what you're doing.
You have no idea.
I know, it's like, forgive him, Jotaro, he knows not what he does. So it's like, but yeah, you don't get that same reaction with Chocolata. So it's like, So yeah, it was very satisfying to see this guy go the way he does.
Yes.
And now this leads us up into the next fight, which no doubt will be the entirety of next week, and that is going to be Bruno's battle against Sekko. So we see that, Sekko, he's underground, and he got 2 voicemails. And he listens to the first voicemail, and, Chocolata's just doing what Chocolata does, where he's like, he's explaining, okay, I'm in the helicopter, they're coming, I'm going to take them out. But then he's like, when everything is done, I'll give you some sugar cubes. How many do you want? And then he's like, I'll give you 5. And it's like, oh my God, that was like such like an Instagram selfie face right there with frickin' Sekko. I mean, it's like, not only was it the doofiest face ever, but they even gave like the glittery hearts and shit. That's like, oh my God, Sekko, that was like so made for Instagram.
Yeah, they gave Sekko the same kind of anime trope you expect to see in other animes, where someone is like incredibly happy for whatever reason, and yeah, it's like this, like the background turns pink, and you see sparkles and hearts and stuff like surrounding the character who has this big fucking dumb grin on his face.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what they gave to Sekko, and oh my God, that was the funniest thing with Sekko I have ever seen. It's like, I see his face, and it's like, okay, that is the look of, okay, this is probably just me. I will not be surprised if it's only just me thinking this. I see that look on Sekko's face. That is so Ed from Ed, and Nettie right there.
Probably.
It's like, so am I right to assume that in this universe, it's like, sugar cubes are the equivalent to jawbreakers when it comes to Sekko.
It's been such a long time since I've seen Ed, and Nettie. So it's like, it's like, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. And then, okay, so then I remembered, so on my Twitters, So yeah, I was seeing everybody gushing over the beatdown. So it's like, I'm thinking the only reason everyone's talking about the beatdown is either because it was really good or it was handled so poorly and people are pissed. Thank God it was the former and not the latter.
Oh, thank
But
God.
another thing that I kept seeing, I guess it's with a particular line that Chocolata says that I guess people were like, I get maybe this has something to do with like the mistranslations or something that Part 5 suffered from for the longest fucking time. But, at the end of the voicemail, you see, you hear Chocolate saying, okay, they're coming. I have to go now. Seko, you can do this. I believe in you. But then at the very end, he says, I love you to Seko. And I guess a lot of people were like really surprised by this or something. I'm thinking maybe it has to do with like, I know Part 5 prior to, what is it, the JoJo's Color Adventure Team translation, which was far more accurate, but prior to that, for the longest time, Part 5 suffered from very bad translations, which was why for a while a lot of people didn't think too highly of it. So I'm thinking maybe these are some of the people that they remembered it from the first time around, but they didn't see the newer translations, so maybe they're seeing this and they're just like, oh wait, did he really just say that? I'm seeing people just like, going like, oh, we have another gay romance, because, people can't have enough of those. And I'm just sitting here thinking, you guys, that's just the first voicemail. You didn't hear the second one. And honestly, they deliberately left it out for now. So I'm thinking next week the episode's going to open up and Seko's going to listen to the second voicemail. So it's like, because, yeah, if you're thinking, yeah, I know I'm going to spoil this for you guys and I apologize, but if you're one of those people, especially an anime-only watcher, who you're thinking that, when Seko was rising from the ground and you see he's fucking furious, he is out for blood, you're thinking, oh, he wants vengeance for what happened to Chocolata because he figured out that Chocolata was killed. Oh, you guys have no idea. It's like, I think it's because of the misdirection and everything at the end of this episode where it's like, I'm sorry, guys. It's like, this is not another Squalo and Tiziano situation. Hell, this isn't even a Pesci trying to avenge Prosciutto situation. Chocolate and Seko are on a completely different level. So it's where it's like, these people, I think, are going to end up changing their tune next week when they see, they get the full context of what's going on between these two. Because I think so many people, they're very quick to forget that it's like, no, Chocolata, when he's saying, I love you to Seko, it's not because, he genuinely loves him as a person. It's like, remember, he treats Seko like a pet. Like, he doesn't even treat him like a freaking human being. And Chocolata doesn't give a shit about anybody. So that's where it's like, yeah, the only person he does care about is Seko, but even then, he doesn't treat Seko like an equal. Doesn't even treat him like a human. He treats him like a fucking dog. So that's where it's like, I think some people are very quick to forget about that, because I'm noticing some people that are like, oh, he admitted that he loves him. It's like, did you guys forget about last week?
Yeah. Oh man, it's like no, seriously, no, you're absolutely right. Freaking everybody, pretty much like the vast majority of people who watch next week's episode, or whenever Seko gets to the second voicemail, oh man, I bet you ain't, their jaws are gonna drop from the realization on what these voicemails were about. They finally figured out why Seko's so PO'd, and they're just like, oh. Everything makes sense.
Yeah. And what? Speaking of spoilers, we also have, and literally the episode decides to end.
Oh, God. All right. I was skeptical about getting the beat down near the end of this episode. I knew this moment was going to happen, but I wasn't expecting it to happen on the same episode as the beatdown.
Yes, so it's like, oh man, the anime only watchers, I'm sure just on that last panel, if you have seen Stardust Crusaders, like, Okay, you recognize that hair. Please tell me you recognize that hair. So it's
Please,
like,
there's literally nobody else in the JoJo series that has a perfectly good hairdo like that.
yeah. But it's like, so yeah, it's like, yep, that this is pretty much like, yeah, the first, concrete, thing that's like, okay, the person that called them, the person they're trying to meet up, it's our good buddy Polnareff. And it's just like, oh my god, like I was not expecting that to show up in this episode. I figured if anything, that's going to happen probably next week, because that's how it was in the manga. It was during Bruno's fight with Seko was when Polnareff actually revealed himself.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I
that's where I
think
was
that's
like,
what threw me off as well, with the sudden appearance of Polnareff at the end. Because
yeah,
because I remember, because oh man, I definitely remember like Polnareff's appearance, and yeah, you're right. It happened like right when Seko was done,
yeah, it happened like right in the I think it happened in the middle of this fight.
or
So it's like,
somewhere around there. Yeah.
yeah, because after Bruno and Seko, we pretty much after Bruno and Seko, we start moving into the Requiem stuff. So it's like, so that's where, yeah, it's like, yeah, because after the fight, we move into the Requiem stuff. Diavolo makes his formal appearance. So it's like, we're getting there, but, that's what I was expecting. It's like, okay, that big moment when it's finally revealed just who it is. It's like, yeah, I was thinking that's going to be next week. But nope, they decided to tease it for this week's, which is, that's fun by me. But it's like,
yeah, I'm not complaining.
I'm sure, like, for a lot of the anime only watchers, it's like, again, it's like, please tell me you recognize that hairdo. It's like, he does have very much a different character design, because a lot of shit happened to Polnareff in between part 3 and part 5. But it's like, and that's also the weird thing. I'm not seeing a lot of people on Twitter geeking out over Polnareff. So it's like either they're trying to be really good about keeping that secret for the anime only watchers, or the anime only watchers, they literally cannot tell that is Polnareff. But it's like, yeah, I'm not seeing anybody talk about it.
Yeah, that is rather odd when you think about it. Because, yeah, even now, it's like, I have not noticed anything in regards to Polnareff. Mostly just the beatdown.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's where I was like, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. So it's like, yeah, we can get our good buddy Polnareff back in. It's been a while since we've seen him, but now we'll finally get to see what has happened to all the Crusaders since part 3. Because it's like, we got Jotaro and Joseph in the last part. Now it's time to see what the hell happened to Polnareff.
Oh my god, I tell you what, when we see Polnareff more, after the fight with Seko and Bruno, I tell you what, I am gonna grow so many gray hairs just from looking and listening to Polnareff. I'm just saying.
Well, where I think, so next week, like I said, I do think next week is just going to be entirely dedicated to Bruno going up against Seko.
Yeah.
Like, that is going to take up the entire episode, is the remainder of that fight, and, we are good from there. So then the week after that is going to start the next big arc, which was like maybe not the next big arc so much as like, well, yeah, it's pretty much everything that happens
pretty much everything leading up to Endgame.
Yeah, so it's like, and it's like, we get a lot of setup for all of that, so a lot of things are going to happen there, but I do think that's all going to start 2 weeks from now. At least that's the feeling that I get, because it's like, if Chocolata got his ass kicked, like, throughout, like, the majority of this episode, it should not take Bruno much longer for Seko, because they both had about the same, like, equal amount of chapters, I believe, in the manga, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. It's like it felt like, the fight between Seko and Bruno, they were pretty much the same considerable amount of time or whatever. So, no, I strongly agree. I would not be surprised in the slightest if It just took like just one whole episode just to cover the entire fight between Sekko and Bruno.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that we are missing at this point?
Nothing that I can think of.
Alrighty, so hope you guys enjoyed, especially that glorious beatdown. And we will see you guys next week for part 3
of Green Tea and Sanctuary. We'll see you guys next week.